Hello. It's very nice to be back in Galway. I was actually here when I was 14 years old. That was in 1994, so it's been a while. And I must say, Irish people have not very strict laws with giving underage persons alcohol, I would say, or at least it was like that in the 90s. So I had very interesting lifetime experiences here, and I'm looking forward to have more. So, why I'm not a trained chef? You might wonder what this is about and why I'm standing here today talking about this topic, and let me be honest with you. Just to be invited here and standing on the stage right now, and also holding a masterclass tomorrow, by the way, gives me the feeling of high-level imposter syndrome. This is me right now, right? I don't know if you're familiar with the term. Basically, it means that you feel you're not supposed to be here. Some people have it when they receive an award or reach a certain level of success, and they just wait for this call for somebody reclaiming it. Yeah. I didn't introduce myself properly. I'm Sophia Hoffmann from Berlin, Germany, and I work as a chef, author, and activist. In German, we say, Angriff ist die beste Verteidigung, roughly translated as offense is the best defense. So I wanted to talk about this topic. I never went to culinary school, and today I want to tell you why, and why perhaps this was one of the best decisions of my life. I was passionate about cooking since I can remember. Growing up in a very unconventional family where my free-spirited artist dad stayed at home and cooked lunch in his very unique, experimental, always zero-waste approach that still inspires my work to this very day. I still have long conversations with my dad on the phone about food, hour-long actually, and it's our social glue. He was the first person I saw that could really get excited about a certain ingredient like cinnamon, cardamom, or garlic, and then he used it in fucking everything. Well, but that's another story. Also, I learned from him the important lesson that trial and error is the only way to become a better cook, and often to create great dishes, you must risk horrible failures. Then there was my mom, the breadwinner in our family, working full-time, but still managing to introduce us kids to baking, specifically at Christmas time, and showing us how to preserve food. They taught me all these values that are still principles of my work today. But I'm going to speed up the process now between what happened between playing restaurant as a child, reading cookbooks, and my first job in a professional kitchen aside school at age 17 when I was a pizza baker. I dropped out of university feeling it was not for me. I did an apprenticeship as a hairdresser, funnily enough, not as a chef. Never worked in that field ever again, but probably learned quite a lot about hospitality, cleaning after myself, and how to talk about the weather for hours. Still, I had on and off jobs in kitchens throughout my 20s, but I focused on other things. I pursued a career as a DJ and party promoter for around 10 years, and through that I started working as a music journalist. Writing is my second big love, and through that I became a freelance writer. In 2010, 2011, I was on a crossroads. Getting tired of nightlife, and when I accidentally stumbled into the direction of the kitchen again. I mean, it has always been there in the background, right? I had started writing more about food and also had my first column in a magazine, and I had these experiences working as side jobs in the kitchen. When people started reading my column, started to ask, where can I try this? So I changed the setting a little bit. And between 2011 and 2016, I just want to wrap up what happened then when I made this decision. And a lot of things happened in the last 9 years, I would say. So between 2012 and 2016, I did around 60 supper clubs in 8 different countries all over Europe, serving over 2,000 people in off locations, restaurants, and also the main floor of a techno club. I did countless cooking classes, panel talks, stage cooking shows all over Europe, some of them improvisational, not knowing beforehand what would be put on stage, because I love improvisational cooking. That's really what I love almost the most. I'm not big of a planner, as you might sense by now. I worked in the kitchens of 3 restaurants, helping to open 2 of them, sadly also closing 1 of them again. Did several internships and workshops all over Europe. I was invited to, can you see the smile on my face? I was invited to cook at the James Beard House in New York in 2018, together with 5 other female chefs to serve the first ever fully plant-based dinner there. I wrote and published 3 cookbooks, 1 featuring female gastronomy success stories, and the latest is about zero waste. Only published in German so far. If there's anybody out there who wants to translate it into English, please talk to me. Currently, I work in an amazing kitchen at Isla Coffee in Berlin. It's a daytime cafe, and that has like a circular economy concept, has also been awarded for that concept. And I work together with 3 amazing women that have my back, so I can be here this week. And also, I'm working on the concept for my own food place to open it with my business partner in 2020. But we don't have much time, so back to the question. Why am I not a trained chef? Let me tell you, because this cake has a lot of layers. First, wait. Oh yeah, that's me. That's some food. Why am I not a trained chef? Genau. I'm vegetarian / 90% vegan. And that is also how I cook, right? And in Germany right now, same as in most countries all over the world, there's not a state-controlled culinary school that you can attend that has a focus on plant-based cooking. So to say, I was too vegan already when I turned that into a professional career. And the German culinary education system is so obsolete, and the conditions for trainees in the restaurants are often so bad that it's actually the profession with the biggest dropout quota in the whole of Germany right now. Falstaff magazine, a culinary magazine, recently posted in the German edition an article discussing the possibility or the importance of a plant-based education. And most professionals spoke out against it, arguing like you have to learn everything once to become a true chef, and questioning also the demand for plant-based food, that the demand would be high enough, right? What people forget when they have this kind of discussion is that some of us just don't want to eat animals anymore. And that they don't decide that based on a trend, but on a fundamental ethical and also environmental decision. And it doesn't make any sense for them to learn how to debone a chicken ever. Tomorrow is my masterclass. And I will talk about this a bit more, and also about my food, and overwhelm you with the amazing adventures that I have experienced on the 7 seas of plant-based deliciousness. So if you want to come, you're welcome. Luckily, there's also people within this system that want to focus on plants, and we have this amazing lady in the middle with the chef's hat. She's Annette Vogt, a chef and teacher at Berlin's biggest culinary school, and by her initiative, I started teaching with a focus on vegan cooking and zero waste at this culinary school. These courses are still voluntary, but you can get an extra certification for taking them, and as you can see in the picture, the people who are there, they love it. So that's one of the reasons. These women here that you see are the entrepreneurs featured in my second book, Vegan Queens. All of them run food businesses. Okay, it's not my mother language, sorry, a bit nervous. Some of them with up to 20 employees, and none of them is a trained chef. They all chose their work environment themselves and created the conditions they wanted to work in. All these women, all the women that I know that are trained chefs in Germany and worked in the classic, hierarchic, male-dominated kitchens have experienced sexual assault, verbal or physical or both. All of them, 100%. I can honestly say that this is not something I would choose consciously, especially as a survivor of and a spokesperson against sexual violence. I truly believe that a lot of female-identifying people choose an alternative way into this business because of its notorious reputation. This is also closely connected to the fact why women are still so underrepresented in the culinary world. There are quite a lot of women, but they are less visible. Because of how we define culinary success. It's all about stars, lists, fancy restaurants, and all that shit. A lot of women I know, especially the ones that decide to have a family, run amazing cafes, catering companies, and street food businesses. But you will barely get the reputation for these businesses that you might get for a fine dining restaurant, right? I say barely because these things are slowly changing, very slowly. Luckily, a lot of men also want to have a better work-life balance and a better work atmosphere, and the spectrum of what we perceive as amazing food has become broader. I'm also very happy to see this discussion on the other talks, very happy. I think these people, like me, that jump into this field, filled with passion, creativity, and new ideas and values, should be listened to because they can bring amazing impulses and that we can all profit from, right? And you know, honestly, I can still work on my knife skills, and the people from Amas know what I'm talking about. So, this is my business partner, Nina, that I want to open a restaurant with in 2020. We're both going to turn 40 next year, so I think it's like a nice thing to do. What you don't see on this photo, which was taken a year ago, is that, her belly. Her daughter just turned 1, and this unplanned little miracle changed our plans quite a lot. And I'm actually glad about it because we have to find a way to make that work, and her being part of that. So it's about change. What I ask you today is the following. Think outside the box. Be open for new ideas. Question, overcome structures. And most important of all, check your privilege. This quote was mentioned by Asma Khan, owner of Darjeeling Express in London, an amazing woman featured also on the Netflix series Chef's Table, and I agree. I'm privileged. We are heard, that we are here. We have a voice. We need to make this business more diverse, equal, human-friendly, and enjoyable, and lift the ones who don't have a voice, and there are many of them. Thank you.